It's Bold Prediction Friday, and here it is. Terry Bussey will lead the Aggies in receiving yards.
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. On the show today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about the baseball team. They take down the Auburn Tigers to move on in the SEC tournament, but a big loss in the injury to Jace Laviolette. We'll talk about all that. Talk about the LSU matchup. But first, it's Bold Prediction Friday, and I've got 7 bold predictions for the Texas A&M 2025 football season. And the first one I have listed here, you heard it when I got us going today, it's that Terry Bussey will lead Texas A&M in receiving yards. And I know this is bold. That is probably the boldest on here, I'd say, realistically. But, I mean, Terry Bussey has all of the talent in the world, and we all know that. We know how good he can be. We know the upside he possesses. I think that the concern for this take would be, and it's a problem, and it's a good problem, and that problem is that KC Concepcion is really good, and Mario Craver is really, really good, and you've got elite receivers on this team. But I'll tell you what, I have not heard people talk enough about Terry Bussey. I haven't. I'm hearing so much every day about KC Concepcion, rightfully so. And once again, this is not a problem. It's not a bad thing. But I'm hearing so much about these guys, and there just isn't as much conversation about the one and the only Terry Bussey, who I think is going to have a special season. It frustrates me that no one is discussing how his talent enough. I mean, this kid is a 5-star for a reason, and he's going to put together a good season. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It is not going to be easy for him to take down, KC Concepcion and be the leading receiver. Like, that will not be an easy ask for Terry Bussey, but I think it's possible. And that's what I'm kind of saying here is I don't think folks are talking enough about that being a possibility. So I think that a receiver gets close to 800 yards this season. I am reluctant to buy into the idea of a receiver having more than that. I think that that's very realistic, that many yards. I think it is very, very realistic for this team. With how much they're going to run the ball. I mean, we got to remember that they're going to run the football a whole lot. That's just the reality. They're going to run it a lot. So knowing that, I think even if it is Concepcion that ends up leading this team in receiving yards, I think he's around 800. I'm just telling you, Terry Bussey has the talent to do it. And I know it's crazy. I know it's blood. A lot of folks are going to click on this video and go, what the heck? There's no way in hell this happens. Potentially. But I do think there's a chance that he puts together a very, very special season. My next bold take for Bold Take Friday, Bold Prediction Friday here is Cassius Howell will have 10 sacks. That's pretty bold too. I think that's very bold. But, I mean, at the same time, I think that it's realistic. I think that he is so talented. The PFF grade backs up that information. He's going to be coming off that edge. I mean, last year, Cassius Howell put together a pretty darn good season while playing behind some elite players, and he still always finds a way to put up impressive numbers last year. I mean, on the year, it was 40 total tackles, 4 sacks, a forced fumble, and that interception in that USC game, which was freaking miraculous. That was just a crazy play. And Cassius Howell is going to take a step in the right direction. He's going to have a larger role this year. And I think that larger role is going to lead to him putting up some incredibly impressive numbers. I think that he might be the player that I am most excited about on the defense, because I just think the step that he's going to take is going to be so massive. It's going to be impressive. He's going to put together an elite season. I'm really looking forward to seeing what his second year at Texas A&M is going to look like. I mean, when we discussed it at Bowling Green State, he put 9.5 sacks up. In 2023, of course, put up 4 sacks last year and not a ton of snaps. I mean, he didn't have a ton of snaps, and he still found a way to put up great numbers. His PFF grade was elite. Cassius Howell is going to have a more significant role this season, and he is going to thrive in that role and put up incredible statistics. And I think be one of the best pass rushers in the SEC. And I think 10 sacks is bold. I think 8's very realistic. I do. I think that he's got that in him. I think he is an NFL player. I think he's going to be an early day 2 pick in the NFL draft. Kid's a stud. He's an absolute all-star type of player, and we're going to see why this season. And then my last bold prediction for segment 1, I got more for segment 2, is that Armaj Reed Adams and Mr. Zune at left tackle, those 2 guys are going to be all SEC first-team performers. And I'll tell you this. I know I have my fair share of concerns with Marcel Reed, and I've talked about those. We talked about positives with him yesterday. We've discussed all of this. But if the Aggies have 2 first-team all-SEC offensive linemen, there is absolutely no way in the world that this offense is going to be one of the best in the SEC. I already am thinking this offense can be pretty darn good. We know how special the running backs are. We know how special these receivers are. We know how special your quarterback can be if he continues to develop, and we've discussed that. But if your offensive line is this good, and if y'all remember correctly, heading into last season, I had my fair share of concerns about the Texas A&M offensive line. I was genuinely concerned, but it was every time I was concerned, it found a way to overachieve. And I'm hearing some folks kind of talk crap about this Texas A&M offensive line and say it's not going to be all that good, or maybe it's a tad bit overrated. And I'm not buying that for 1 second. I think this Texas A&M offensive line is going to be one of the better offensive lines in all of college football. I think it's going to be one of the better offensive lines in the SEC. I think that last year, I would say if you ranked the SEC offensive lines, it would have probably been in that like 6 to 8 range, probably maybe 6 to 10. Okay, right? I think this year it's got a real shot to be in that top 5. You're talented. You got all SEC type of guys all over this offensive line. They've played together. You got that continuity on that offensive line, these guys. And I'm telling y'all, that's a big deal. Having an offensive line that has played significant snaps together matters. And I think it matters a lot. So I think this offensive line is going to put together a very, very special type of season. And I am excited about it. I think they're going to give Marcel Reed time. I think they're going to create space for these running backs. I think they're going to be able to help these receivers get downfield. They're going to get up to the second level and on double team blocks. This offensive line is going to be pretty darn good, and I'm excited about it. And I think I'm hearing more negatives than positives on this Texas A&M offensive line, and I don't get it. It's a unit where you're returning everybody. Everyone's talented. This is going to be a dominant Texas A&M offensive line, and I'm really excited to see just how good this unit is going to be. Got a few more bold predictions. One about the tight end room. I'm going to predict who is going to lead the Aggies tight end room in receiving yards, and I'm willing to bet right now that nobody would guess who I'm going to predict. And I'll tell you who that is coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on things I don't need or a waste of money, and it helped me budget better. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Bold prediction about the Texas A&M tight end room. And y'all know that I've talked a lot about this. I believe that this Texas A&M tight end room is going to take a step in that right direction. I was a big believer in the fact that this unit wasn't utilized as much as I would have expected it to be used last year, and I think that is going to change this year. I am all in as a believer that this Texas A&M offensive line or tight end room is going to be utilized more this season. And you brought in a lot of guys via the transfer portal. You brought in the kid from Auburn. You brought in the kid from Nebraska. You still have a lot of elite tight ends on this roster. You brought in Amari Niblack, who I think is going to be really, really special. But I'll tell you what, I genuinely believe that none other, and this is bold, drum roll, I don't think y'all are ready for it. I genuinely believe that there is a good shot that the one and the only Coyote Armstrong could lead this tight end room in receiving. Coyote Armstrong is a freak athlete. He's a great blocker. He is an all-around elite football player, in my opinion. And I think that it is realistic to say that there is a world where he leads this team in tight end receiving yards. I think he's got the talent to do it. I think now, once again, then you get into this whole, well, he's a true freshman and is he going to be okay in year one? And I'm just telling y'all, I think that Coyote Armstrong is going to find a way to put together a damn good season. He's talented enough to do it. Once again, he's listed at 6'6", 265 as a true freshman. He's got the size to do it. He can catch passes. He can block. And I know that Coach, Colin Klein, we've discussed this, how much we want to see, we all really have wanted to see the Texas A&M room get more utilized better. And last year, I think that now I'm not putting it on Colin Klein, and we've heard Colin Klein say, hey, I want to get my tight ends more utilized. I think it was more of a personnel issue than it was a Colin Klein issue, but I think he's going to get these guys utilized more this year. And I think that Coyote Armstrong has a shot to lead the tight end room in receiving yards. He's talented, and I think he's going to be special. I know that's bold. It might not happen, but I'm just telling you, this kid's going to be special. And if it's not this year, he's going to be really good in the future. So I will tell you that right there. The next bold prediction I have here, I think the secondary is finally going to take that step in the right direction. We've all discussed it. We've all talked about the concerns with the secondary. It hasn't been good over the last handful of seasons. It just hasn't been good. And I'll tell you this, it's really frustrating when you have really good linebackers and great defensive line, and you're just getting beat downfield every single play. And that's what's been going on with the Texas A&M secondary. But I think this year, things are going to get better. I am all in that Will the Blanket Lee is going to be an all for SEC player. I mean, he's a special player, special human being. Fan base loves him. He's going to have a really good season for the Aggies. I think that he's going to put together a good year. And then I think the guys you brought in Shaw and Humphrey are going to be really good. I think those guys are going to step up. And then you've got a lot of young guys. I'm just telling you, we have so many young and talented secondary players that this team cannot be they can't be bad. They just can't be. There's one of those guys will step up. There's so much young talent in this secondary. Worst case scenario, one of those guys steps up and has a pretty darn good season for the Aggies. So, and now once again, and this is a similar conversation to the one we had last year about the offensive line. I am not saying that the Texas A&M secondary is going to be the best in the SEC. I'm not saying it's going to be the best in college football. What I am saying is that I believe that this Texas A&M secondary could be kind of in that 5 to 8 range, 5 to 10 range, where it's not awful. It's not elite, but it's not awful. And I'm just telling you, I believe these linebackers are going to be great. I believe this defensive line is going to step up. You're going to have a lot of new faces, but I believe they're going to be pretty darn good. With all of that, I think that you're going to see some players step up and have a solid season in the secondary to where this unit, maybe it's not elite, but it's not killing you. And that's kind of what I think we're going to see here. And my last bold prediction, this one's really bold, and I've said differently before, but I'm kind of changing my mind a little bit. I'm predicting right now, and this could change. We'll see what happens, depending with the quarterback over there and stuff. I'm predicting Texas A&M to beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a historic venue. They're a great team. It's a great program. There's, of course, a lot going on there. And I'm fully bought in to the fact that this team is good enough to beat the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm not saying that that's going to be easy, because it's not going to be easy. I mean, Notre Dame's a damn good football team. They, of course, went to the national championship game last year. They're losing some players. So is Texas A&M. They're losing some talent. So did, both teams did. You got to go to South Bend. I'm not saying this is going to be an easy game. I think that Notre Dame is going to be a talented team. I think that they're going to be a playoff team. They're really, really good. But I think Texas A&M, this is the Aggies' opportunity to go on the road and make a statement early into the year. I mean, once again, this is going to be the team's third game of the season. You play UTSA, you play Utah State, you get a little bit of you kind of figure out who you are as a team. You get all this stuff dialed in, and then you go on the road and play your first road game, and you play against the Fighting Irish. It's not going to be easy, but yes, I do think that there is a world where I think there's a world where the Aggies find a way to go on the road and win that game. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, because it is not going to be easy, but I do think it's possible. So we'll see what happens there. Let me know in the YouTube comments, what is one bold prediction that y'all have for the 2025 football season? I've got a lot more. I'm going to try and start doing these bold prediction Fridays more. It'll be tough to do an entire show on them, because, there's only so many bold predictions you can have about the season, but I'll start trying to at least have one segment be bold prediction. So let me know in the YouTube comments, what is a bold prediction y'all have, whether for a player, for a game, for a season. I don't have enough time to talk about it because I've got to talk baseball. My next one is a bold prediction here. You know what? I won't tell you. I'll save it for next Friday. We'll do that. I'll save it. So you're going to have to wait a week to find out about that one is. But let me know in the YouTube comments, what is a bold prediction y'all have for the 2025 season for the Aggies. We're going to talk about the baseball team, unfortunate injury news, but we're still alive. We'll talk about it coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. The Aggies are 2-0 in the SEC baseball tournament. They took down Mississippi State to get things going. And then yesterday, they took down the Auburn Tigers. A really well-pitched game, top to bottom, from these Aggie pitchers. Lampkin goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, strikes out 5, walks 3, but strikes out 5. Moss comes in, 2.1 innings, 2 hits, no runs, strikes out 1. Another great showing. And then Caden Wilson did a heck of a job coming in. He came in a bit of a jam, got out of it, through to the best player, one of the best players in the SEC, Ike Irish, and gets big out there. I mean, just an absolutely incredible outing from Caden Wilson to really secure this victory. And then Freshcorn comes in, of course, and gets 1 out, and the Aggies win this ball game 3-2. The only offense the Aggies needed, of course, was the 3-run homer from Caden Kent in the third inning that scored Terrence Keel, and it scored who else scored? I forget now. Let's see. Oh, Sawyer Farr. Okay. It was the other run that scored there. So you got 3 runs out of that homer for Caden Kent. It was a great swing. It was one of those, he dropped his knee down, kind of like Jace did in that home run against Mississippi State. Dropped down, got his hands to the ball, bottom pitch lower in the zone. The pitch was not a strike. It was a good pitch. Better swing from a damn good hitter. And of course, that home run ended up being the only offense the Aggies needed to get this victory. Actually, the Aggies only ended up getting 4 hits. They actually got out hit 6-4 in this game. It was a real pitcher's duel. Auburn scored a run in the bottom of the 9th on a homer, but wasn't enough. They weren't able to pull on the full comeback, and the Aggies get the win. So now they are set to take on the LSU Tigers tonight at 6:30. A team, once again, that Texas A&M just hosted a few weeks ago and beat in a series at home. And now the Aggies are going to look to beat this team in a game that would send you to the Final Four of the SEC baseball tournament. And it's a big one. I mean, this team has to find a way to put together a few more wins. You're a few more wins away. It's not going to be easy to do. You're going to have tired arms. You're going to have tired players. Now you're playing without your best player. Jason Laviolette, of course, takes that pitch off the hand. You see him. He goes in the extra room, comes back out with a cast on. I'll tell you what, there is never a worse sign than a player coming back out with the cast on, because that means they are done for the game, if not the season. And, of course, that's the case. It looks like it was a broken hand or a broken finger, and that's going to be it for Jace. So it is unfortunate when you're kind of hot. You won 2 games in a row. You're trying to go on a run. You're trying to save your season, and your best player goes down with an injury. It is incredibly unfortunate, but this team's going to fight. They're going to keep fighting to the end. And I'll tell you what, I'm never betting against the Ags. I like us in this game. LSU is a good baseball team, but so is Texas A&M. They're playing good ball right now. They're liking the field in Hoover. I think the Aggies are going to find a way to win this game. I really think this team has a shot to go win it. And I know that's crazy. You never see a team that plays on Tuesday win the SEC tournament. It just doesn't happen. But this team is playing good ball at a good time, and I like the Aggies right now. I'm telling you. That is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Aggies. That's going to do it for this week here at Locked On Aggies. Really appreciate you all being here. Hey, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. That helps me out a ton, helps the show out a ton on YouTube. If you're listening on a podcast platform, leave a 5-star review. Once again, all of that stuff helps the show out a ton. I really appreciate y'all being here every single day. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the baseball game tonight. We will see you on Monday right here on Locked On Aggies.